Hello everyone, in today's After Effects scripting tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of methods you can use to implement images into your scripts. Now images are useful for scripts if you want to add a logo, maybe add an event listener to have it link to a web page or something like that, or just to have them there for design purposes. So today's tutorial is going to be super short and sweet, as I'm gearing up for a larger tutorial next week. So this is our UI. We have a simple logo and a close button. And we're going to be adding the implementation of some event listeners after we discover the two ways we can add images. So the first way is to reference the actual path of the image, whether it be a relative or absolute path. And the second way is to generate a binary form of our image. Now if I turn on word wrap, you're going to see that this is a lot of random gibberish, and the amount of data that's going to be returned to you in this string form will depend on your image. The way we're going to be getting this data here is using our binary image encoder script. This basically is just going to load up the image and use built-in functions to convert it to binary format, and then we're going to write that binary information into a text file. So first let's start off by making this UI. We'll open a new JavaScript here and zoom in a little bit. We'll start off by making our main window, and we'll set that equal to a new window, and the type is going to be a palette window. The name is just going to be image testing, and the size will be undefined. Then just to organize all the groups that we're going to be putting into it, we'll grab the main window and set the orientation to column, so it goes from top to bottom. Our first group we're going to add is going to be for our image itself. We'll just call this the image group, and we're going to add that to the main window. It's going to be a group, undefined size, and we'll just call it image group. Now I'm only putting one image element into this, but it's good practice to set the orientation of your groups as well. So I'll set that to row, and I'll make a group for the close button. We'll just call this close group, and we'll add that to the main window as a group with undefined size, and we'll call this the close group. And again, it's good practice to set the orientation just to prevent any problems that might occur. And I'm going to go ahead and add a var called the close button, and we'll add this to the close group, and we'll call it a button with undefined size, and we'll just say close. Alright, then we're going to grab our main window, center it, and grab our main window again and show it. So now if we launch this, it's just going to have an empty space and a close button, as you can see. So now we need to insert an image. To do this, I'll create a variable called image, and we'll add this to the image group. And the type of item we're going to add is just simply an image, undefined size. Now for the third argument, we need to input a string, and this can either be the path of the file or the binary encoding of the file. So for example, if I was to manually input my path here on my desktop, and it's called thumb for thumbnail.png, and let's go ahead and run that, and as you can see, it's going to load up my image onto my script. Now let's take a quick look at how we can do this binary image encoder. All of the code is linked in the description down below, but the way this basically works is we set up our initial path, and in this case this is referencing our C drive and a folder called test, and inside of here we have our image called thumb.png. We set a variable called f, which is going to be our file, and that's going to be equal to a file in this path that we set up, and thumb.png. So this is basically just setting up f to be this file here. And then we're going to set the encoding of f to binary rather than something like UTF-8, which we'll be using for the text file. And then we're going to open up our file. Then we set up a variable called binary, and we're going to basically set this to reading our file. And since it's been encoded in binary, this variable binary is going to contain our actual binary string, which is this super long one we took a look at earlier. And then we're going to basically set up the creation of a text file in the same directory called binary.txt. We're going to open up the text file at a semicolon, set the encoding to UTF-8 because it's just text, and then we're going to write our binary string, close the file, and this will write the line to your JavaScript debugger, and then it will close the file. So if I go ahead and save this and run it, you can see it's going to generate this text file, and inside of here we have a super long string of text. Basically what we want to do is grab from the first double quotation mark all the way down to the bottom one. And now if we go back into our script, I'll just create a variable called logo, and I'll set that equal to my string. And of course add a semicolon. Sometimes it bunches up a bunch at the end, but just make sure you add your semicolon. So now if we scroll back over here and we want to change the source of our image here, we're just going to type in logo, and we'll go ahead and run that. And it's going to do the exact same thing, except this time we're using a built-in string that we added to our code. So say for example you had some logos you wanted to use, but you didn't want to put in all the code implementation for the different versions of After Effects, whether it's on Mac or PC, CC 2015 or CC 2018, then you can just use a binary string to get that done. So finally, let's add some functionality to our script here. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab our close button, and we're going to say when you click on it, it's going to be equal to a function. And this function is simply going to grab our main window and hide it. But we also want to add something for our image. We want to be able to click on it and do something. So what we'll do is we'll grab our image and we'll say add event listener. And we can go ahead and just pick from any of these here. And this is going to take in 3 different arguments here. The first one is called the name. For this we can put in something like click. The handler is the function it's going to run. So for this we'll just grab a function called image click, and we'll go ahead and create that right here. And then the capture phase we actually don't have to put in, but by default it should be false. Alright, so I tested this out and we just need it to say click, and instead of adding our parentheses we just need to say image click. So every time we click on the logo, it should go ahead and alert logo click. So if we run it, click on the logo, it's letting us know that the logo has been clicked on. Then we can close it to hide the main window, run it again, and keep going. Alright guys, that's it for this quick tutorial. Again, I'll be coming out with a much more in-depth and detailed tutorial next week involving several parts. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you have any questions, of course, add them down below, and we will see you guys next time.